Hello, welcome to the International Day of Happiness. Who would have thought there is an actual day that has been dedicated for us to think meaningfully and intentionally about what it means to be happy? I'm Valerie Ling. I'm a clinical psychologist and I'm the director and founder of the Centre for Effective Living, a group psychology practice in the leafy suburb of Wesley in New South Wales. So a very committed person to this cause has organised a group of allied health professionals all around Australia to jump online and actually do a kind of a happiness flash mob vlog slash blog attempt for the period that you're watching. You would have seen someone before me and probably you'll be seeing someone after me. Now, I think a flash mob is a fantastic idea. Wouldn't it have been wonderful if we could have all gathered at some random place and suddenly sang a cappella and did some tap dancing and jumped around some random space like a true flash mob? But I'm happy to do this. I'm happy to do this. Why not? There will not be any dancing or singing in my segment because that would not be good for the International Day of Happiness. So last Christmas, I was waiting in an airport ready to get onto a flight when a little blue book caught my eye. It was, first of all, it was beautifully bound. I just love the workmanship that goes in getting a book out onto a bookshelf. But the concept and the title really grabbed me. Now, lo and behold, I didn't actually then buy the book then, which was not very wise because I then spent several months trying to locate this book. I finally did and gifted it to a few of my close friends. Now, the book that I was after, it had the title Ikigai. Ikigai. It's a Japanese concept of purpose. So when I say purpose, what goes through your mind? Does it sound like a bit of a lofty ideal? Is it superfluous? Is it irrelevant? Or is it something that really engages you, really grabs you? The thought that we can have purpose. In fact, if you actually look at the history of the psychological history or thinking behind finding purpose and meaning, there are some deep historical roots where philosophers, writers, psychologists have grappled with the idea of what actually fills up a person's life, what gives them a sense of forward movement, what anchors them in times of difficulty. And the idea of meaning and purpose is very central to that. The little book that I picked up is not a very scientific book, so I probably won't be putting out there to recommend that you pick up. But it was a quaint little book that looked at the collection of stories that a community in Japan had. So this community in Japan basically seems to have the highest concentration of people who live over 100. Or something along those lines. And they polled them and interviewed them and observed them just to get an idea of what went into these people's lives that made them have long lives. And the concept of Ikigai comes up, the Japanese concept of Ikigai, finding purpose, finding meaning being the secret to a happy, full, and long life. So what is Ikigai? Well, if you can imagine some intersecting circles, it's about figuring out what you're good at, what you love doing, and if I had a third hand, which I guarantee you I do not, it would go underneath, and what is important to you. And if you can imagine three circles that are interlocking, right in the middle of that is your Ikigai. It is your purpose. Now, those don't have to be very lofty things. In fact, why don't you do a little bit of an Ikigai challenge for yourself today? Why not have a running list as you're going through your day, just observing really intentional, what are all the things that you actually are doing that you love doing? What do you love to do from the minute that you wake up to the minute that you fall back into bed? What do you look forward to? Then why don't you make another list of things that you're really good at. Now, that's really hard for some of us. We might find it difficult to actually figure out things that we're good at. But why don't you try anyway to see the list of things that you might do that you might take for granted that you're pretty good at, that you completed it. You're able to get through it. Okay, what you're good at, and then have a look and see if you can make a list for yourself of the things that are really important for you in your life and in your world as you're going through your day to day. And right in the center of that, you might actually find where those things intersect. That is where your ikigai is, where your values, where your sense of purpose is. For me, my sense of purpose comes from many different, there are many different shapes and forms of it. I have creative things which I'm interested in. I'm doing this because it really fits into my sense of purpose. I'm committed to actually reaching out to our community, decreasing the stigma that comes from seeking help for your mental health wellness, and to really link arms with professionals and our community to say that if we all stood up and came to the fore to talk about these things that really as human beings we all have in common, then we would actually be authentic and supportive of one another's well-being. So that's my little vlog for today, is the concept of purpose, the concept of finding meaning. And what I might do is I might actually link a little article with this video that you can have a read of, just to tinker with the idea of ikigai. All right, have a wonderful, meaningful, purposeful International Day of Happiness. See you later.